I had one question. I think Pete had one question, so they were winded.
Okay.
You and Dakota time this, so you're always going at the same time?
Trying to keep you on the run.
Yeah.
I'll let you get settled and
Thank
do you have a question? Mr. Greif?
you. Sure. Yeah. I'll go with one. This week, Mark Banker, of course, at Nebraska, he said that this was kind of personal to him because you guys have had your way with his defense over the years. I think 45 points per game. That makes it look pretty easy. Obviously, it isn't that way going into it, I'm sure. But could you kind of characterize your guys' relationship with that staff and the job you thought they did since you've been here at Oregon?
No, I mean, just a ton of respect all the way around. We've known a lot of those guys and competed against a lot of those guys at various spots. I've known Danny Langsdorf for a long time, since high school. And so just a lot of respect. They've done a tremendous job everywhere they've been, everywhere they've been. And they're playing extremely confidently right now in every phase, particularly on defense. I think they're leading the country or close to leading the country in picks, eight turnovers total, and really, really well coached on special teams and have always been an excellent offensive team. And so they are really starting to put it together with a veteran team.
What's the high school connection with Langsdorf?
Just kind of met through. He went to Linfield, and then it was known his dad for a long time, and who was a coach for a long time, and now a long time scout.
Back.
Have you seen Tony BrooksJames progress from scout team player of the year a couple of years ago to now working in the offense for the second straight year?
He's really committed to being a total back. Tony's always kind of been really fast and more of an edge type of threat, but has really worked hard on his game in terms of protection, in terms of being a total inside-outside runner, working on his hands, working on his route running, and just being a total student of the game. And so, it's paid off a couple times early with some touchdown runs, and even more so just of the confidence that we have in him right now. He, Kanai, they've really tried to embrace that total package mentality, and we're going to need all those guys, including Taj at some point.
Seems like he's kind of been the burner early on in the backfield for you guys. You have more confidence in him right now than Taj Griffin early on in the season?
Well, I think it's one of those things. You're sort of playing the hot hand, sort of playing the proven commodity a little bit in terms of Kanai and Tony, that just more experience. And Taj has done some really good things. He's done some things that he can easily correct. And so he's a guy, again, we need every single one of those guys. Just the past instances of needing multiple tailbacks are prevalent, and we have to have them all ready.
Hollins and Jokes looked like they weren't quite full strength walking out today. I don't expect you to talk about that, but guys behind them, if they couldn't go, what do you see as the depth behind those guys at that rush end spot?
Yeah, those guys are, they were out there working their tails off today, along with everybody else, and that's something that playing against a team like Nebraska and how they've kind of retooled themselves to play to their strengths, you're going to need all hands on deck. And so trying to get as many healthy bodies, as many guys getting reps inside, outside, at linebacker, and we'll see Saturday. She looks like,
Hi, Coach.
Are you hiding back there?
Yeah, way back here. Coach, you got a 12:30 kickoff time change, first road game, 80,000 plus fans. Like, how much do you prepare for all those factors besides just actually playing the game?
We really don't. I mean, traveling, our guys do such a great job. Kyle West, our director of football operations, does such a great job in terms of arranging our travel, and our guys are spoiled in terms of how we do it, and they deserve it, how much they work. And so it's really not that different. I mean, it's literally counting back from kickoff and having a routine that we do, whether we do it at home or on the road. We train the same way on Friday and then travel after that. So we try to keep it as similar as possible. We know we're going into it's a hostile venue, great fans. And so that's it's one of the great things about college football.
Andrews?
When this game was scheduled, I think everyone expected some level of coaching intrigue, but everyone thought it'd be probably Frost.
Right.
Knowing his relationship with Nebraska is a little strained. He's admitted that. In your conversation with him over the years, did he want anything to do with this game? It was just kind of an awkward thing looming out there for him.
Scott Frost's relationship
With Scott,
Nebraska
yeah.
was strained.
He said that when he was a player, he didn't appreciate getting booed, and he felt that he didn't get a phone call in 2014 when the job opened up. And in some stories recently, he said he feels like there's very little interaction with the Nebraska kind of fan base.
That was well hidden then, because I see that's good reporting. But no, not at all. I mean, obviously when he was following in the footsteps of an icon there at Nebraska, and that's hard to do. And he's learning right now. Sometimes people love you, sometimes people hate you. But I didn't feel any kind of animosity from him, and maybe I'm just unaware.
With you talked about their takeaways, 7 picks, 8 takeaways. Are those, when you look at them, can you blame them on opposing quarterback making just a bad play, or are those safeties and DBs making good plays?
Well, there was actually kind of a little bit of everything. The first one, looking at it specifically to the Wyoming game, it was a 1-touchdown game. It was a one score game, and they're starting their drive, and the quarterback throws a great ball, and the guy tips it to the DB. I mean, it was a drop ball that they picked and then returned for a touchdown. And so that then just started the avalanche. And that's one of those things where, Nebraska's trying to seize that kind of frenzy moment, and they did create a lot more turnovers, and they forced them. And if you're Wyoming, obviously you're trying to make that one play and stop. But it's definitely, that's exactly the same thing that happened in the Fresno game. It's a tight game, and then just bam, it's a huge, significant margin. They're outscoring people right now, I think 50-0 in the fourth quarter.
Anything else?
Another one?
Go ahead.
Shoot. And now I forgot. What was I going to ask? I don't remember. Oh,
Jerry's got a question back here if you want to.
actually,
Go ahead.
I remembered it. With Dakota, I remember the spring game, him saying that was the biggest crowd I've ever played in front of. He has a young offensive line in front of him. Are there things that when he's trying to get protections communicated in a crowd that's obviously larger than these guys have ever dealt with, that you guys can do silently, or just a way to communicate the stuff that needs to get done when there's kind of a lot of inexperience working together as a unit, that quarterback line unit?
Yeah, we'll certainly find out. And that's one thing that they do a great job of presenting, a lot of looks, a lot of pressures, that's one thing they're doing more than ever is the variation of scheme and their pressure looks. And so most of the stuff we can do is nonverbal, is communication that is built within our system. And so hopefully that will be seamless and positive for us. But yeah, that's something that it will be different, and it will be stressed on both ends.
Jerry Allen?
After 2 games with Nebraska to take a look at, you see similarities between what Nebraska is doing now with Coach Riley when he was at Oregon State?
I think the 2 biggest places where they're very similar are their special teams are outstanding, very well coached, a bunch of starters on every unit, and they play their tails off very soundly. And so that's very similar. Their base defense is very similar, but then, just the variations of their defense, the pressures, the number of rushers, the looks, all the personnel groups is a lot more diverse. So they've kind of added a few different layers to that. Offensively, there's kind of the run game, all the screens, all those things, taking shots off the play action that you would recognize from Oregon State. But then there's also, in the first game and this last game, a lot more commitment to some quarterback runs, some variations of just pounded football. And so, a tremendous challenge for us, obviously, given our last 2 outings. And, our guys are excited about rectifying that.
In the front.
Did you catch Monday Night Football last night? DeForest Buckner's debut, San Francisco, Chip Kelly's debut.
Saw a few plays. It was actually kind of funny. I feel sorry for Troy Hill because we usually kind of root for everybody because there's usually one or two connections to pretty much every team, but between, obviously Chip and Az and everybody, the players, and then Blaine Gabbert played for David Yost. And so which is really hard for me too, to be a pro 49er. Chip is again straining my loyalties, but no, we watched about 10 plays and it was cool. And then had to get back to the Nebraska defense.
When you think about Big Ten football, you think about big lines and power football, and you mentioned that a little bit with Mike Riley's offense being seen in Nebraska. But what have you seen out of Nebraska's offensive line on tape so far?
They're huge. I mean, I can't remember their exact heights and weights, but it's like 6'9", 6'7", 6'6", 300, 315. They're giant humans, and they can move. They pull them. They do kind of all the zone fits and power stuff that they've done in the past, and they do a great job. Coach Cav has been he's done a great job everywhere he's been for a long time, and again, it's a veteran group that's playing with a ton of confidence.
That it? Oh, one more.
Maybe it's silly, but how many times over the years do you think your Tom Osborne has been confused with Tom Osborne of Nebraska?
That's a good question. He's never been a representative or a senator or any kind of government official, but we always say the Tom Osborne around here. But Coach Osborne obviously set a lot of standards in his time at Nebraska, and we know whose stadium we're going into. Let's put it that way. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.